Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Statesman Podcast, where we dissect Zimbabwe's politics. I am your host, Nelson Machka. And if this is your first time on this channel, please do us a favor by liking and subscribing on this channel. That would be a great way of supporting the channel. So thank you for joining me. Today, I am going to be unpacking the bitter factional struggle that is inside ZANUPF, and it erupted after the Politburo meeting, which was held on Wednesday last week, on the 17th of September 2025, where dossiers, arrests were demanded, dossiers were flying, accusations following suit, and what it all means for the party and the country. So I'm going to walk you through the timeline of political science framing to help explain motivations and finish with what to watch for next in ZANUPF. Right, so on Monday, 22 September, just yesterday, the ZANUPF party spokesperson, Christopher Mchangwa, he held a press conference that followed last week's Politburo meeting. The headlines are dramatic, but the threads are very much familiar. The Vice President, Chiwenga's camp, they produced a dossier, and in the dossier, they were alleging massive siphoning of funds, roughly $3.2 billion, which is tied to ZANUPF's COVID stake in Sakunda. The dossier, it names Kudakwashita Gray and others, Delisha Ngwaya, Scott Sakupkanya, and Wikno Chivayo, and it calls for their arrests due to corruption. Now, the reports from the Politburo say that General Chiwenga instructed President Mnangagwa to arrest the four and do it immediately. Some accounts even say President Mnangagwa himself offered to resign, and offer reportedly declined by his vice president. That sequence, it has produced up to now a sequence of open confrontation inside the party. Accusations flew from Lafu Matuke during the same Politburo meeting. Lafu Matuke accused the vice president of harboring presidential ambitions and plotting an unconstitutional takeover. The vice president fired back. He reminded Matuke, who brought the president back from exile, and noting Matuke's own absence during the liberation struggle. This is for the benefit of those who didn't watch the previous episode. But since the Politburo meeting, attacks on the vice president have escalated. We have seen media campaigns and interviews, accusations of paid smear campaigns, and public statements from various cabinet and party figures have intensified. Even outsiders like Themba Mliswa, for example, he has been implicated in such campaigns, and he has publicly promoted Tagre in an interview I think he was circulating yesterday. You have got Owen Mudagwe, the Midlands Minister of State for Provincial Affairs. He proclaimed that the 2030 agenda came from the people, not the president. But of course, we all know this did not come from the people. Which people? Where are the people? And when did the people really demanded that the president proceeded to 2030 unconstitutionally, that is? So we all know all of this is just spinning and stuff like that, but there are no people in Zimbabwe who have demanded this. It's the people that are around the president who are benefiting from his presidents that have been behind the push to have the president extend his tenure to 2030. So with that statement, it even raises more questions than it answers. Like I have just quipped, who are the people? So you have got characters like Douglas Mahia also, who has repeatedly invoked the line that the party is bigger than any individual. And this is after the dossier that had been presented by the VP on the Politburo meeting of last week, Wednesday. So the crescendo came with the party press conference that was hosted by Christopher Mchangwa. And he is the party spokesperson, so he speaks on behalf of the president and the party. And he openly criticized the vice president. So what is actually happening here, I'm going to attempt to break this down into a few core dynamics that I play here. Number one, I would say double standards on the timelines and ambitions. So you have got Mchangwa, who is telling everyone with presidential ambitions to wait until the elective Congress of 2027. That is fair, but that sounds selective in that the provinces have already endorsed a 2024 resolution to extend the president to 2030. So while the vice president is told to wait, the other faction is actively pursuing an extension. Politically, this is a classic selective timeline management. Rules for thee, but not for me. Blessed Mhlanga, I think he attempted to question him that, okay, we hear the vice president is being cautioned to wait until 2027 when the elective Congress happens. But then you have got provinces that have already endorsed the president to 2024. Mchangwa did not answer that directly. He just diverted and started talking about what the president has done. Come on, that's not what the question is about. You are just spinning here. So I would have loved to see Blessed maybe pushing back again to say, no, can you please come back to the question and answer? Are you not showing double standards here in that you are demanding the vice president to wait until 2027 and everyone else? But this other faction here, which is pushing for the extension of the power, you have never castigated them, have you? Have you had a press conference to say, no, this is not going to happen? We are going to wait for 2027. So it's double standards on timelines and ambitions. Secondly, money influence in the machinery of patronage. So a key theme is resources. I'm telling you guys, politics is about money. Elections are about money. Power games are about money. This is not a theme that is specific to Zimbabwe. It's everywhere. Money win elections. Money win power. Everyone has a prize. Everyone can be purchased. Loyalties can change. In politics, like you have probably heard about this statement that we always say in politics, there are no permanent enemies in politics, only permanent interests. As long as our interests can align, and then even your worst enemy can become your best friend. So even the people that have been publicly and privately against the resurgence of Kodakwashe Tagwire, I am telling you, once they are offered a price that they think they are worth, and then I am telling you they can shift those loyalties in a whim. So a key theme is resources, as I'm saying, and the Shugananda Allied group appears to have been buying support. We have seen this even publicly, deploying money to secure provincial endorsements and media influence. I have argued before that in these intra-elite contests, the actor with the deeper pockets is a structural advantage. I did mention that earlier on in one of our episodes. And cash lubricates loyalties. It funds campaigns and can even compromise security structures. Even Masoja, they are pro Chiwenga. They have a price. They have a price. They can be bought. They can be compromised easily and nicely. Chiwenga koti mrango wafa mrikupi makuni siandrindega hakuna mun. They've been compromised. They are gone. Everyone is a price. Right. Then the third thing is the military card, which I would like to say is the ultimate arbiter. But is it still the ultimate arbiter in Zimbabwe as it was in 2017, or it's now a poisoned chalice? So the generals' bargaining chips are different. Where Tagwire and his friends may buy loyalty, the vice president's leverage historically lies in security backing. He is a military man. He's coming from the army. He was their leader. They supported him when he did the previous operation in 2017, Operation Restore Legacy. But there are three possibilities here. Vice President's leverage historically lies with the secretary, as I said, and the three possibilities here are that the Vice President still controls the military, the other faction is infiltrated the military, or neither the two factions fully controls the military. And a disgruntled minor military actor could exploit that vacuum. And any of those outcomes, those three outcomes are definitely destabilizing if they come into fruition. And then number 4, factional consolidation and the risk of escalation. So the Uganda faction seems to be consolidating. Political operatives, provincial bosses, and cadres are being aligned. If the vice president truly miscalculated by releasing the dossier without a robust exit or enforcement plan, he may have sacrificed political capital without securing the guarantees he needs to force change from within the party. Okay, so I'm going to take you through very short theories to make sense of all of this. Number 1, the elite capture or rent-seeking theory. So at the core of these disputes are rents. Rents are economic gains from control over state resources. Rent-seeking, it explains why elite factions fight so fiercely for control of state-linked businesses and procurement. And this translates directly to resources to secure political support. So the alleged 3.2 billion siphoning claim, if true, it is rent extraction on a very, very large scale. So in rent-seeking systems, political power is often a revenue stream. So elites defend access with everything that they have. Remember Kudakwashita Gure in Bulawayo, when he stated that if you don't do tenders for the government, you are stupid. He said government is the number one business offer in any economy. That's what he said. So definitely we are seeing here openly in public declarations and intentions on how these guys they run their businesses, where they get their money from. It's so open. So apart from the elite capture, rent-seeking theory, we have got also spoils and layout networks, which can be called patron-client politics. So patron-client theory, it helps explain the operational mechanics. Leaders dispense material benefits to their clients, who are provincial chairpersons, talk of military officers, business allies and stuff, in return for political loyalty. So what you see here is that money buys provincial endorsements. It buys appointments by political backing. And then when two patrons compete, one with deep pockets, the other with security ties, conflict becomes a contest over which network is denser and more reliably mobilizable. So I have a good theory here which states that, but apart from that, scholarly work suggests that coups are likelier when military cohesion is low and civilian elite rivalry is high. A divided military or infiltrated ranks raise the risks. But now what we see here, my reading of this situation is that Christopher Mchangwa's interventions can be read as both offensive and opportunistic. He is defending the party while signaling authority and perhaps keeping himself visible as a power broker. Tagure and the Shikananda network are playing the long game, leveraging cash and influence. The vice president's move to present the dossier was bold, but also risky if he lacks the institutional muscle, especially within security structures. So the dossier becomes a political weapon that could dangerously backfire for the vice president. So what I think we need to watch for, especially at the Mutare conference, which is taking place next month in October. Right. So motions on the 2030 agenda and whether the provinces' earlier endorsements are rubber stamped, because there is already endorsements from all the 10 provinces of ZANUPF supporting the 2030 project. So we need to watch out and see if they are going to rubber stamp these endorsements, these earlier endorsements, and let's see if the president is going to stand and whoever the who is to of the party are going to stand up and say, no guys, let's wait for 2027, where we are supposed to have the elective congress to decide the path which the party is going to take. Is that what's going to happen? Just as Christopher Mchangwa intimated yesterday on the presser to say people who are ambitious need to wait for 2027. Is he going to stand up next month when province starts making noise to say 2030 project must go on? Is he going to stand up and reiterate his advice to say people need to wait until 2027? Let's wait and see. It's only a few weeks away. And then composition changes to the Politburo and Central Committee. Who gets promoted or who gets sidelined? That is something to watch for. And then any public naming or legal action against individuals in the dossier, arrests or prosecutions would escalate things into the legal realm. But I don't think that any of that is going to happen. Remember, the Anti-Corruption Commission, one of the statutory bodies which is responsible for investigating corruption, it is situated in the office of the president. It's more like they report to the president and probably they get their mandate from the president. So is the president going to give them a mandate to go and arrest his people? My son, my son, is the president going to give an order for his son to be investigated? And for all we know, all of these guys, they are runners for the president himself. They are runners for the president himself. It's just that easy to see. So can the president arrest himself? That can never happen. Not in Zimbabwe, not in Africa. So let's watch out for that if they are going to be, and if there's going to be any legal action against those individuals that were in the dossier that was presented by. And speaking of that dossier, Christopher Mchangwa also mentioned that we have known about that dossier for 4 months now, and they allege that the dossier was created in South Africa. Actually, they are individuals in South Africa. Whether they are Zimbabweans or they are foreign players, he wasn't clear about that. So whether it was truthful or not, we may never know. Propaganda plays a big part in politics with intended consequences. So we may never know until probably someone comes with information. But according to Christopher Mchangwa, the president and the party, they've known about this dossier 4 months ago. If that is the case, then that means the vice president, is not in his strategies and planning and execution. Is not doing anything that is not known. He's doing things that have been uncovered before, or is also in a way probably we can say the vice president is being spied on. That's what we can say. Is being spied on. So whatever strategies that he has, they have been exposed, and they are being exposed. Just as we hear Blessed Geza probably also is coming up with intelligence on what the other camp is doing. So I think both parties are spying on each other. So let's see how this situation develops. And then lastly, I think we need to wait and see military signaling. So military's public appearances, statements, or sudden retirements, or promotions within the security apparatus that can signal a lot. But that has already happened, so as to speak. That has already happened. We have seen a lot of movements within the military top positions. So conclusively, I want to say that what looks like an intra-party squabble is really a collision of money, loyalty, networks, and institutional control. They side with the deepest resources and the most reliable security backing who have the upper hand. But I would say that neither advantage is absolute. The danger is the miscalculation by either side, because while we are planning, the other side is also planning, and that could create openings for sudden destabilizing outcomes, including violent intervention that is by fringe actors, especially inside the security forces. So if you value holding power to account, follow not only the personalities, the Dagureis, the Wikinogifios, the vice president, and the president, but the flow of money. The flow of money, appointments that are going to happen, and also institutional shifts. So that is where the real stakes in this fight lie. So thank you so much for listening to the Statesman podcast. If you found this episode useful, subscribe, like, and share, and drop us a comment. What do you think will happen in Mutare next month? Will the 23rd project sail through, or will the vice president find a way to turn the tide? I am Nelson. Stay informed, stay critical, and I'll see you next time we move.